In this lecture, we'll talk about the Uvicorn web server that we're using. Although we often use the term server and web application interchangeably, there is an important distinction. When we're working in production, it's important that we have a dedicated web server, which is specifically responsible for dealing with incoming requests and outgoing responses at a low level. Dedicated web servers are able to handle much higher loads than the sort of toy web servers that are sometimes built into web frameworks. So it's really important that we have one when we're deploying to production. And any of the standard web servers will implement what's known as a server gateway interface. Historically, Python frameworks like Flask and Django have used what's known as the Web Server Gateway Interface, or WSGI. This was introduced back in 2003 in PEP 333, and it was revised in PEP 3333 to accommodate the introduction of Python 3. Now, with the introduction of Python's async I/O library, it was possible to go beyond the constraints of WSGI, and as a result, the Asynchronous Server Gateway Interface, or ASGI, was born. And Uvicorn, the web server that we're using in our project, is an implementation of this ASGI interface. Here's the Uvicorn documentation. The reason we're using this particular web server is that it's recommended as a companion to FastAPI, although it's possible to use other ASGI servers as well. You can see that it's a ASGI server implementation. And if we look at the ASGI documentation, you can see that it even talks about itself as a spiritual successor to WSGI. And because it's able to make use of asynchronous applications, it's much faster. We can expect a much improved performance. And then just for reference, here are the PEPs for the Web Server Gateway Interface back in 2003. And you'll find links to all these in the section notes. Okay, so let's go back to our project and return in section 6 to our requirements.txt file. Now this Uvicorn requirement is hopefully making more sense, and you can see it used in our main py file where we import Uvicorn right down here at the bottom. So this is used only when we are running in development mode, i.e. when we're invoking this file directly. When we look at deployment, which is coming up in the next couple of lectures, then we'll see an alternative way of using Uvicorn. So we have this Uvicorn run command, which spins up our web server, and our web app is then able to start receiving requests and returning responses. Some of this information might be quite new to you. If so, don't worry too much about the details. The key thing to take away is that when you're running a web application in production, it's really important that you have a web server. So with that in mind, we're going to now start looking at a deployment.